I want to give you the system on how to become an automatic millionaire at any age level, at any income level. But what I'm going to teach you is how to put your financial life on autopilot in less than 10 minutes. Because when your financial life is automatic, your habits work automatically. The people who build wealth in America and really all over the world, they do something different. They keep the first hour a day of their income.
What do you mean by that?
So what that means is whatever you earn, you could be making minimum wage. You could be making $20 an hour, $30 an hour, $40 an hour. Whatever you earn, the first hour day of your income has to go to you. You're the first person who gets paid.
And you mean you have to save it, invest it?
You have to invest it. So when you look at housing and you take someone who owns a home, and we'll talk about it, I know it's hard to buy homes right now, but when you look at people who own a home versus people who rent, homeowners in America, follow this for 1 second. Homeowners in America are worth 40 times more than renters. So the average homeowner in America today is worth over $400,000.
But this doesn't establish causation, i.e. that doesn't mean that buying a home made them rich, right?
It actually does, and I'm gonna go through that here. So the average renter is worth $10,000, right? So why does buying a home build wealth? And how much wealth in the United States is now in home equity? Wall Street Journal just ran an article on this, came out 2 days ago. There's $34 trillion now in home equity in America. This number has gone up 90% since before COVID. The other money is in retirement accounts, which is 60, 70% in stocks. They put down 20% and they borrow the other 80%. So you take like an example of take a $200,000 home. $200,000 home, you put 40 grand in. Home goes from 200,000 to 400,000 in 10 years. This has happened to so many people in the last 5 years. Since COVID, there are markets all over the US where housing prices have gone up 100 to 200%. So a person buys a $200,000 home, they borrowed 80%, it's doubled. So they've made 200,000 in profit. They didn't put in 200,000, they put in 40. So they got a 5 times return on their down payment. They go to sell their house, they don't pay taxes on the gain. Because when you own a home, at least in the United States, you own a home for over 2 years, if you're single, you get $250,000 in tax-free gains. If you're married, you get over $500,000 in tax-free gains. You know what'd you guess I'm holding?
It looks like maybe $5,000.
Okay, so this is a life-changing amount of money. Stephen, this is $10,000 right here. Mm-hmm. And what does it take to blow $10,000 in a year per day? How much money you have to spend per day to go through $10,000? I'll make it easy for you. The answer is $27.40 a day. $27.40 a day adds up equaling $10,000 over the year. Now, before we go through where do you spend this money and how do you waste $27.40 a day, the question becomes, if you didn't waste $27.40 a day and you were able to get yourself to invest $10,000 a year, what could this be worth over time? And the answer is, in 40 years, if this was in the S&P 500 fund, which you quoted earlier, and you earned 10% annually with reinvested dividends, that stack there would grow to over $4,400,000 if you invested $27.40 a day.
Pass me this big brick.
Yeah.
So if I save half of this a day, then in, did you say 40 years?
In 40 years. So let me give you the math on a couple different ways of doing this. Okay, so what would happen if you invested roughly half of this a day? The number I use is $27.40 a day. It's the magic number. That equals $10,000 a year. If you invested that a day for 40 years, you'd have over $4,424,000.
If I invest $27 a day, in 40 years, I'll have $4 million.
Over $4 million. It will give you the very simple formula to getting out of debt. DOLP. DOLP stands for Done on Last Payment. If you said to me, David, I've got 5 credit cards, I'd say, okay, Stephen, take out a piece of paper just like this, and I'd start listing your credit cards. I'd go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And I'd list them all. Visa, MasterCard. And I'd list them. And then I want to know, how much do you owe? So I put the dollar amount down. And what I would do is I put the dollar amount down on paper and I'd list it small to large. Then I want to know the interest rate. Now, what people say is, oh, you should take the highest interest rate and pay it off first. But I wouldn't tell you that, Stephen. I'd tell you, you take the smallest credit card. I don't care what the interest rate is.
The smallest amount.
Smallest amount. So maybe this card right here is $500. And this card down here is $3,000. I'd have you make minimum payments on every card automatically. This is really important, the automatic part. Have you go on, I'd literally go into your house, I'd open up your iPad, and I'd have you make minimum payments online automatically so that every card's paid on time. Then I'd say, Stephen, how much extra money do you have? Because I want you to put it all towards the smallest card. We're gonna get that small card paid off as fast as possible. We're gonna add all the extra money to that small card. Minimum payments on everything. Once that card's paid off, we're gonna go like this. You don't have to close the account because we don't wanna lower your credit score, but we're gonna put that card over here and never use it. Now we're gonna go to the next smallest card. Some people call this the snowball approach. The reason I teach this system is it reduces the amount of credit cards you have as fast as possible. And you see yourself make progress. It's really important to see yourself make progress when you're doing anything financially. Then I would attack the interest rates because the interest rates aren't always permanent.
Obviously, there are real socioeconomic factors and there's people live in certain situations. And if I think back to, where I was born in Botswana, there's just less opportunity. And sometimes you have repressive governments and other factors that will objectively keep you stuck. But all other things being equal, how much of the game is mindset?
It always comes down to a decision. And we started by talking about my grandmother. If my grandmother hadn't made a decision at 30 that she didn't want to be poor, that she was tired of living paycheck to paycheck, if she hadn't decided that she would go out and teach herself about money and take 50 cents of her paycheck and 50 cents from my grandfather's paycheck and start investing, I wouldn't be here today. How do I know this? Because I spent 9 years as a financial advisor at Morgan Stanley and I got to see firsthand. Everyone who came into my office with an ordinary income, who built wealth, they did it by saving automatically. Every single time a client came into my office and they said, I'm gonna bring you a check every month myself, I never had a client save for more than 6 months. They stopped. Once you make the decision to automate your financial life, it works in the background. Now here's the thing. Everybody else is already doing this to you. You go to a gym to go work out. They don't ask you to bring them money every month. They automatically bill you. And they still need to do their own due diligence and read prospectuses. And yes, there's risk involved in the stock market. But the first one I would talk about and look at, these are all listed in my book, because I just want to give you, because people are like, what's an index fund? What do I buy? Look at the Vanguard Total Stock Market Fund. The symbol is VTI. Okay, this is actually the largest index fund in the world. There's trillions of dollars now in this fund. I talk about it in the book. I looked up the annual returns of VTI the last 10 years have been 14%. 14% annually. This fund has 3,500 stocks, all the biggest US stocks. So you don't have to figure out what stock to buy. You buy this fund, you buy an exchange traded mutual fund, you have access to 3,500 great American companies. I'll give you another stock index fund I love.
And everybody can buy this on their phone right now, probably.
Literally, you can go to Vanguard, Schwab, Fidelity. This is an ETF, so it's available everywhere. It's a stock.
And if you want to figure out how to do this, and you're listening right now, what I'd do is use ChatGPT or Gemini and put in the stock, the fund that has been said, and ask it, how do I invest in this in the country that I'm in? What app do I need to use? What website do I need to use? Again, this is not investment advice. Well, I guess it kind of sounds like it is, but.
Well, no, but it's also like, so like someone says, okay, but I'm in wherever I am. I'm in the UK. What's an index fund in the UK that covers the UK? I'll give you the global version of VTI. So, because I own these funds. So the global version of VTI is a symbol, which is all, I'm gonna give you another Vanguard fund.
When you say you own these funds, for clarity, you mean you've invested in them?
Yeah, I've got money in these mutual funds. So this other fund, because I want money, my personal money that's in the stock market, I am 1/3 global investments and I'm 2/3 US investments. So I have a lot of global index funds. This global index fund, the symbol is VEA. Okay, so this is the Vanguard Global Index Fund without US stock. Symbol again is VEA. That fund last year, and it won't always be like this because global investments have underperformed the US for a long period of time. That fund last year was up 35%. Last year, global investments significantly outperformed the US investments. And the US investment market was up on average of 17%.